chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Yeah.
We're alive now.
Yes, and I am your host, Brad Shepard. And
what's the show called?
The Voices of the Voiceless?
Yeah, that's it. The Voice of the Voiceless podcast with Brad Shepard and Jon FIsher. We're trying something new. Tell them about it.
The interruptive Jon FIsher.
Well, that's what they call me.
Yeah, this is Google Hangouts. We're trying this, and we really want to get this out here, so we're hoping this will run smooth.
Yeah, we have a lot of things that we like to talk about. Skype's terrible. Don't use it.
Terrible.
It never worked. So we're trying Google Hangout, which is going to let us put everything on YouTube. And apparently we're live now on Google. So
yeah,
thank you to the monopoly that is the internet browsing system. So
yeah, we've had more technical difficulties than a Triple Mania show.
Oh, that's south. But you know what? It's true. It doesn't matter. You're right. Yeah.
That's right.
Welcome everybody to the Voice of the Voiceless podcast. The very first episode where a lot of things in the background and chair creaks are going to be the main focus of the show. But besides that, we have wrestling to talk about. And most recently, well, Monday, there was stuff yesterday, but most recently, before Tough Enough, was Monday Night Raw. And we're only going to be 40 minutes today because we're testing you and to see if you guys can listen for that long. Without further ado,
right.
Talk about how Raw was actually okay. Better than okay.
Yeah, it actually was okay. It emanated from Everett, Washington, although they must have some sort of an unwritten rule where they're not allowed to say that, because they certainly did not say that. They're
from Seattle. They said Seattle, but they weren't from Seattle.
Yeah, and even Daniel Bryan, which we'll talk about later in the segment, referred to it as the state of Washington. So yeah, I guess Everett is too small to mention.
It's kind of like whenever they come to Pennsylvania and sort of near the center of it's Penn State, and everyone knows who Penn State is, and they are at State College. They don't say State College, they say Penn State. So it's all the notoriety game for them.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so Seth Rollins comes out with the usual promo starting Raw. He brags about breaking the face of the man who runs the place, John Cena. He says, "You can't see me," and waves his hand in front of his kneecap, which was pretty hilarious. He goes on to talk and blah, 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 the winner-take-all match at SummerSlam. And that kind of created a chain of events where you had Cesaro come out and say the on and on and on and on and on and on and on. About 100
which
times.
Didn't connect with the fans whatsoever, by the way.
Imagine that.
No connection, period.
Yeah, I would agree. That led to Kevin Owens coming out, and then Randy Orton, and then I just want to point out here the comment that Randy Orton made to Kevin Owens.
I was just going to bring this up since you did. Go for it.
Yeah, asking him if he's put on weight. Yeah, I couldn't help but think that was not an improvised line, that was a scripted line.
Why? You know what? Even Jim Ross quoted on this, and I'm interrupting you again. I have to. He talked about this in his blog. If WrestleZone will let me use it, they're not our sponsor. They're just right in front of me. He has quote, "I have no earthly idea as to the answer and see no reason why Owens would be in hot water. Bottom line is, I don't know, but I do know that Owens beat John Cena cleanly a few weeks ago, which can't be discounted or forgotten. Nonetheless, a good match that saw all three men contribute significantly, and that was the triple threat match that we'll get into later." It was Orton trying to be funny. Orton's not funny, but he was trying to be funny, and everyone likes Randy Orton because of his success. It's true. Oh, come on. Because of his success, the crowd popped incredulously. That's a good word. Incredulously about his win over the two internet darlings.
Yeah, it just comes off as demeaning, I guess.
It's fat shaming. If you want to be real here.
It's definitely fat shaming. Be a star. I just didn't see the point, right? Randy Orton's kind of a dickhead anyway, I guess, but I definitely think that had to be something he was essentially told to say. There was a rumor that Dave Meltzer had said it came from Kevin Dunn, which was not true, but he did make sort of an assumption that a comment like that may have come from someone up or above. That was just a guess, not a fact.
Well, hold on. Let me rebut, which I was told was the verb form of rebuttal yesterday. Here's the issue here. This isn't Orton's first run-in with fat shaming. Remember about a year ago, he was confronted by his stalker, and he called her Little Miss Piggy. So I doubt that someone up above told him that. Kevin Dunn, no. I mean, come on. That's not true. But it's not his first run-in with that. So
it's not his first run-in with anything. The guy is a total douchebag.
Oh, man. Well, okay. That's one way to go about it. I can't say that, but that's fine. That doesn't matter.
Yeah. So, they had a segment, and it's interesting how they seemed like they were kind of leaving things up in the air. It led to, they would have a match and the winner would get a championship match later in the night. But you kind of got the feeling that Cena's health may be in question at this point, and they were looking for a plan B just in case he couldn't go at SummerSlam, which obviously, now as we record this, I don't believe that's the case at all.
No, I don't believe so. But, the fact of the matter is the fans are thinking that Owens is being, quote unquote, buried by management when, he beat John Cena about a month and a half ago. I don't see that much burial there.
Oh, yeah, he did beat him once.
It doesn't matter. He beat him in his first match on the main roster. He beat him. How are you telling me that's a burial of any kind? Even people that were buried, like Umaga, rest in peace, by the way, or the Great Khali in his World Heavyweight Championship run, where they didn't get a match that huge in their first run. Not even Rusev did, and he held the championship for I think almost a year.
Yeah, and how did they follow that big win up?
He's facing Cesaro, in which those two are just going to propel each other to the moon. And I have to give credit to Bleacher Report today. Cesaro is the next Daniel Bryan. Kevin Owens doesn't need to be the next Daniel Bryan. He can just be Kevin Owens. Triple H will not let Owens fail. There is just no possibility of that even happening.
Yeah. They followed it up by, in case you were keeping score at home, 2 straight losses to John Cena, a loss to Finn Balor.
But in great matches, match of the year candidates, both of them.
Yeah, but eventually losing every single televised or network pay-per-view or special ever since the one win, it kind of does. You lose the steam that you had somewhat from the big win, and so
when you win a championship for over a year back in 2013.
Yeah, when you get a big win like that, you have to follow it up, or you start to lose that momentum. And I think that's just my point. Is if you're going to go that far and give him the win, then you need a plan after that to continue his momentum. And I don't really felt like they did that as well as they could have.
Either way, all right, I'm promoting our show on social media, so you come up with the next topic, please, or the next segment that's worth talking about.
Yeah, it's kind of appropriate. Team Bad versus Team Bella.
Go on.
Bad, yeah. So no, it really wasn't. I mean, it was good for what it was. I thought, in particular, on this, that there was some really good selling by Sasha Banks of the Daniel Bryan kicks that Brie uses because she can't come up with her own moves.
Fair enough.
So yeah, I thought Sasha did a great job, and Brie came off really well with that. It was like I said, all right for what it was. And of course, Team Bella picked up the victory. Brie ducked a super kick attempt from Tamina, rolls her up 1, 2, 3. The crowd was pretty hot for this. Surprisingly, I would say probably the most hot for it since they started the quote unquote Divas Revolution. So I think that's a good sign, and I think this kind of thing is just going to take time to catch on with the audience like they want it to.
Here's my issue, and I can't take credit for this idea, but Mark Madden of WrestleZone.com said earlier in a column, or rather a tweet, that said that how are you going to put over 9 people at the same time?
They're not. That's the point. It's WWE's even Steven booking style, right? And that in a perfect example of that would be
So a
you
mediocre
know,
sitcom. Sorry. Oh,
yeah, you have Naomi beat Charlotte, and then it's like and then the next week it's Charlotte beats Naomi, and it's even Steven booking, and no one really gets over that way. Now, if you want to look at the whole thing, I would never have paired them into team of threes anyway. I think they would have been much better off coming in as individuals.
I agree with you, but at
yeah.
the same time, because that one segment's probably still one of the most talked about segments of the entire year.
Yeah. So when Stephanie introduced them, Mother Hen herself introduced them. I thought it was a pretty cool moment to see them come up. They have done a great job on NXT, but I didn't like the way she introduced them either. It was kind of like Mother Hen at recess with the kids. It just wasn't. I thought they could have done it a lot better, but it seemed like Stephanie definitely wanted to take credit, and she wants to be the face behind this Divas Revolution and make sure everyone knows that she's responsible for it. So, good for you, Stephanie.
I'll play devil's advocate again. Triple H is the head of the NXT Revolution, as it were. Is he not allowed to play that father figure to not just the women, but the men too? The NXT clique, those 5 guys, and then you have the NXT women who he's very close with. So he's doing the same thing. He just didn't go on TV about it, but he's still doing it.
But we can speculate that. I mean, we haven't necessarily seen that on TV, but we did see Stephanie on TV letting everyone know and essentially taking credit for the Divas Revolution. It was a good thing. I just didn't like the way they executed it. I thought it could have been better, but
okay. Then let me ask you this: would you rather them not do anything at all and keep the divas and not make them impressive or amazing or worth watching?
Yeah, I think they can do that, all of that, and be introduced as individuals rather than teams. And you talk about like team names and team bad, like that is bad. And
hey,
I
it's
won't
better
even
than
get in.
submission sorority.
Yeah, Bang Bros or whatever it is. It's like you don't Google that, kids. And it's really not much better when they changed the name to PCB, which sounds very similar to PCP, a drug. I just thought, the whole team name thing has been kind of pretty stupid. So I don't know why every faction needs to have team in front of it, team this or team that. And I don't know why they needed to be a team at all. They could have been individuals. How are you going to stand out when you've got multiple teams and each team is 3?
That's the problem. Simply because at least one is going to get left out of the mold here, and unfortunately I think that's Becky Lynch, and it's a shame. And she's my favorite. I just think it's going to come down to whoever management likes more. Can we stop that? No. I don't know if we're going to have a choice.
Yeah, I mean, Becky Lynch is pretty great. She was great on NXT, but when you look at how they are booking these matches with the Divas, she doesn't stand out. They're not really giving her the same sort of opportunities. It's not because she doesn't have the ability.
She does stand out.
When is she stood out?
Becky Lynch?
Yeah.
NXT. The match at NXT TakeOver over a month ago? I guess over 2 months ago now.
No, you're right about that. I'm saying that on the main roster.
Oh, she hasn't. Oh, okay. No, yeah. She hasn't, and you're right. Yeah. And it's a shame.
Yeah, it's and that's what happens when you are brought in at the same time with other divas in teams, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah, that again. The quote is, "How can you push 9 people at the same time? You can't."
Yep.
Moving on to the next wonderful segment of Raw.
The New Day versus Los Matadores. And, there isn't much more things exciting on Raw than the entrance of the New Day.
Amazing. Kofi and Big E have transcended time and space, and it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
It's awesome. You have Kofi skipping down to the ring, clapping his hands. The whole thing is just over the top and fantastic. Absolutely love the New Day. And they took on the Los Matadores, who, by the way, are very good workers. They've been saddled with a really stupid gimmick. And we could talk a lot about that. It's kind of a stereotypical gimmick, even though they're Puerto Rican. But anyway, yeah, they've done really well lately. They've actually picked up some wins, and they have a lot of talent. So this was a pretty good match, I thought. The New Day won, which wasn't a total surprise. Again, it's that even Steven booking style where they go back and forth trading wins.
No, okay. I was just going to bring it up. Do wins actually matter? When have wins actually mattered?
Wins matter. Well, with the even Steven booking style, they really don't. It minimizes how important wins are, but they are important in the regard of if you start to lose too much, it hurts your momentum. So you look at Zack Ryder, he was super over after he, created his Z True Hollywood, his video YouTube show that they didn't want him really doing. And so they just basically squashed him with Cena and Kane. And, he lost so many times in whatever. He was booked so poorly that he never fully recovered. So it does hurt your momentum. So it matters, but it doesn't. With even Steven booking, it doesn't matter. But if you continue to, beat someone, they're going to lose any momentum they may have with the audience already.
So, okay, let's go over to that point. Who wins at SummerSlam, Cesaro or Kevin Owens? Who needs to win? And here's a better question. Who needs to win more?
Kevin Owens.
Okay, but what about this whole Cesaro section, him actually connecting with the fans, his overwhelming popularity? Who gets the bigger pop? Or rather, I guess, reaction from the fans because Owens is a heel. Either one of them. They're the group of internet darlings that nobody wants to root against, but they're going to have to. Maybe. Unless they want to enjoy a good match. And let's be honest, not a lot of internet fans, myself included, sit back and say, I love this match. Blah, 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 blah. I'm in it for just the match, not just to, enjoy wrestling. I analyze too much.
Yeah, sometimes you can do that and you just need to have fun. But, I think this is just, they have booked themselves into a corner with this match. They've got two people who probably do need a win. I just think with Kevin Owens having only won once on TV since coming to the main roster, I think he is in need of a win more.
You know what? I'm going to have to say Cesaro on this one because Cesaro needs this right now, but Kevin Owens can get over whenever he wants. I think that's the two differences between these two guys. Owens doesn't need as much help, but Cesaro needs momentum more than anything right now. All right, moving on.
There was a backstage segment with Triple H and Seth Rollins. Hunter and Rollins talk about the fact that Seth will defend his title against the winner of the triple threat match on Raw. Triple H gets Rollins pumped up so much that by the time he leaves, he's convinced that because John Cena can do it every week, so can he, but only better. So they're kind of preparing for that challenge later in the evening. Then there's a number one contenders match for the person who will face Seth Rollins later in the night. Kevin Owens, Cesaro, and Randy Orton. The match was good, I thought. I'm not the biggest fan of it. Randy Orton, I think, does some things well, being a veteran, but he also does some things that kind of drive me crazy. You could call him rest hold Randy.
Well, Randy Borton's a popular one.
Randy Borton is another popular one, yeah. He's got a formula, and he's got good timing in some of those things. Being a veteran, that he does really well. He's kind of the same flavor that we've had, for a long time, and he just doesn't usually do too much for me. So, Anyway, so after a second RKO to Cesaro, there's a 1-2-3, and Orton wins the match to have the right to challenge Seth Rollins for the championship later in the evening.
I thought that triple threat was awesome. At first I didn't like the ending. I thought, well, not the ending per se, because the 2 RKOs in a row was pretty fantastic. I didn't see the point of having Orton win. After reading the reports on the Inquisitor.com and SuicideDive.com about how they needed a backup plan in case Cena was hurt, because that nose was hurt. And you saw how broken it was. Rollins reminded you last weekend, the week after that, and the week after that. You need a backup plan. And Orton going in there, getting into that little mix-up with Sheamus at the end of the match, which, by the way, that match was great, too. I can't take anything away from Orton or Rollins. You needed something to, give the fans an alternative. But then again, we saw Tough Enough Cena is going to wrestle, so, moot point. I have no complaints. Sit back as a wrestling fan, everybody who's listening. We have 2 viewers, by the way, so congratulations to them. They're pretty fantastic. But anyway, you have...
Yeah, thanks for your support.
Yeah, we're trying this new live podcast, and it's going to be fun. So anyway, I digress. Fans need to sit back and listen, to what the WWE is giving them, and that's entertainment.
Yeah.
And that's
kind of boring entertainment at times, but yeah.
But you know what? It's still it's world wrestling entertainment. There is wrestling, and if people say there aren't, they're liars. There's wrestling on these shows.
The only one saying that is Vince McMahon.
They're giving guys like Cesaro and Orton and I shouldn't say Orton if we're talking to the internet community here, and you and I are both in that. You're giving Cesaro and Owens 15 to 18 minutes on Raw. How let's go back to 2009, 2010 when SmackDown was the wrestling show, Raw was the angle-heavy show. There wasn't a lot of wrestling on Raw, and if there was, it was a big 6-man tag team main event that Teddy Long put together, and it didn't make any sense. And this was an angle at the end. Now you're getting great wrestling matches. That's what people want. That's what the demographic now is wanting. Yeah, the main demographic, the children, want Cena to go over all the time. They want their superhero to win and prevail. They want Neville to be this fantastic performer, this comic book character, which is why they're bringing in Stephen Amell from Arrow. They're doing these things, and wrestling fans are nitpicking, analyzing. Maybe it's a good thing they're nitpicking, because if it was just so bad, they wouldn't watch. People are going to watch regardless. I think that's what's so great about the WWE. And I know I'm not a spokesperson for them. I'm being very sincere. They're getting you to watch every week, right? Even if you hate it, if you love it. They're getting you to watch, and every segment on Raw had a point, no matter what.
Yeah, this show was definitely a build-up show for SummerSlam, so I will give them that. It was all, very focused on the matches and storylines heading into SummerSlam. So that was a good thing. So then we had Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns in a backstage segment. Dean Ambrose cut a promo about not having any friends growing up, but he has a friend now, and that would be Roman Reigns, Vince McMahon's Fabio. The two talk about how, as real friends, they would do anything for each other, and Luke Harper would do the same for Bray Wyatt. Head back to a commercial where we have Luke Harper and Dean Ambrose. And before I get into the match, I just want to comment on this cringeworthy sort of buddy-buddy stuff they're doing with Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose. I'm not really a fan.
I like this.
Tell me why I'm wrong, Jon FIsher.
I always do that. No, what they're doing is they're getting Roman over. They're like CM Punk, something making Roman Reigns look really, really strong. So while they're going to put him with the most over guy in the company, even though he's a mid-card guy, and that's Dean Ambrose, they're doing it well, and they're giving Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper something relevant to do. I don't see anything wrong with this.
Well, yeah, you're clearly not Dean Ambrose then. They're doing it at his expense. He's staying in the mid-card. He got beat. Luke Harper beat him clean, and he's lost a lot in the mid-card. So he's lost a lot of momentum, and amazingly, the fans still love him. And they're doing all of this to continue to give Roman Reigns a rub. And as we record this, Roman just did an interview where he talks about the fans booing him and compares it to bullying, which is just absolutely fucking ridiculous. How can this guy possibly be serious? I mean, there's a difference between booing a wrestler at a wrestling show, and bullying someone. And I didn't see the correlation at all. It was absolutely asinine.
You know what? I'm just gonna let Roman be Roman.
Yeah, she'd be Roman on out of the WWE.
Wow. Well, okay then. Moving on to something more positive. Let's wrap up Raw in its entirety because we need to get to Tough Enough, which is a huge controversial topic. Thoughts of Raw? I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Good wrestling, good angles. We had an excellent showing by Stephen Amell, who is known as Arrow. I have no complaints. I thought it was good.
Yeah, I don't know what the fascination is with Hollywood people coming in and humiliating the wrestlers. I don't think it really pops the ratings or whatever, so I'm not really sure the
You're
point.
just a hater. You're an Arrow hater. Watch the show and you'll understand.
Hater. I don't want to watch the show. Maybe that's the problem. But yeah, I think there's a deep-rooted fascination with Hollywood in the upper echelon of WWE, and so they love this kind of stuff. They eat it up, and I think the fans like me who've been watching for a long time really don't give a shit about this. And yeah.
Well, you know what? Your boss, Joe Burgett's going to be very upset that you said something like that. By the way, I have to throw this out there. I wrote a report earlier on the Wrestling News Hub Facebook page about Sting not being involved. The reason is there's no need for Sting there. Even though it's 4 hours, they're going to give these high-profile matches at least 20 minutes. So there's arguably 4 to 5 top-tier matches on the card. That's 20 minutes apiece. You can do the math.
Yeah. Plus, we have enough guys 50-plus in the card.
Yeah. Okay, you got me there. All right, but yeah, that's why Sting isn't there. He might be there for, Night of Champions, October, November. Get some not pay-per-view buys. Wow, I sound old. WWE Network buys, and it'll work. I think it'll work just fine. Sting's not needed. It's as simple as that. He doesn't need to be there all the time, or he's not a special attraction anymore. What if Lesnar was at Raw every single week? Would he be special? No, he'd be a regular main event guy, scary, a beast. He'd just be a regular wrestler, just like the rest of them.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. So Raw, lots of other stuff, blah, 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 main event, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. We've got the setup coming. So Seth Rollins will face John Cena at SummerSlam.
Yes, in which he announced it at what program last night? You gotta say it with vigor.
WWE. Tough enough, and you do have to be tough enough to sit through this show every week.
Are you talking about our very first show, or their? I think it's like week 8, their 8th show.
It probably could be both.
You're probably right. I enjoy Tough Enough, and we're going to lose our only viewer for that. But it's interesting because there are these people, except for Patrick, who was my favorite, who don't have that wrestling background, and it gives an insight as to how you learn in the business. I think that's very fun to watch. Yeah, most of them are terrible. Yeah, most of them will never make it. Sure, they try hard, but at least you get to learn how to take a bump, how to do a roll, do a headlock, create a match, write a promo, develop a character. I think that's all interesting to see. Maybe I'm just the way I'm looking.
How to swim across a body of water.
Yeah, it shows toughness. It shows toughness.
Yeah. Very relevant to a wrestling ring.
I'm talking the in-ring wrestling teaching that's going on. I love that.
Yeah, I think Billy Gunn's actually been fantastic in that role.
Imagine if Austin was still doing everything he was and having Billy Gunn there too.
Well, Austin's too busy trying to get legends fired. I went there.
It's still too soon, man.
Fuck it. It's he's a sensitive guy. He clearly doesn't have a sense of humor, but he has no problem being on the cover of 2016, WWE 2K,
which I already pre-ordered, by the way, for our video game listeners out there.
Oh, you're such a mark.
I like video games. I'm sorry.
No. Yeah, I'm gonna get it too. But it's like, couldn't that have been maybe like a current star?
Okay, they could have used John Cena, Randy Orton, Triple H, Vince McMahon. I can keep going.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to do that. Why would he want to do that? Why?
Why wouldn't he?
He doesn't want to. Can you do a video game promo in the mountains of Minnesota? I doubt it.
I don't know. Maybe.
Either way,
that's kind of like bumfuck Egypt. So I'm not really sure to be honest.
Do
they have that?
You just offended our only viewer from Minnesota, so
Well, we're only going downhill from here then.
so we have Tough Enough, and this week Gigi got eliminated. I don't see a lot of potential. I love her heart, and I like her inspiration and her true like testament to really want to learn in this business. Because I like to look the good in people. I'm an optimist.
Well, yeah, Miz liked to see the good in people too. That's why I saved that blonde chick the other week.
Yeah, hey, I gotta say something. Amanda, her name's Amanda. Amanda shows a lot of, she can be that mean bitch character. She's good at it. People hate her. She is the Eva Marie of Tough Enough.
Yeah. I don't know if that's a compliment or not, but yeah.
All right, you're just being jaded. So honestly, what's your opinion of Tough Enough? I think it's getting better. It's getting more intense. They even developed matches and did them in front of an NXT wrestling audience last night. I thought it was pretty cool.
I think the format sucks. I think it's been the worst season yet. I think it's a pretty terrible reality show. I've always watched Tough Enough. I continue to watch it. I think
my point. There's my point. You're watching anyway.
And, I'm covering it.
And they don't, and WWE probably cares, but they don't care. You're watching regardless. And that just proves my point, that no matter how much we complain, we'll watch anyway. People can boycott, Mick Foley boycotted Tough Enough, but I guarantee you the finale, he will watch it. Everyone will.
The ratings have been so bad that Vince McMahon has taken it on as a priority, and he actually has been showing up to the live show of Tough Enough. He's not there during the week, but he is there on the day of the live show itself. So they obviously are very concerned about the ratings. That the ratings are, pretty much the shits compared to the other programs on USA, and I think that's why they've put a lot of focus on it. But I don't think it's improved. I think some of the guys, Mata and of course Patrick Clark, I thought were both very good. And both were eliminated, and you've got that fat slob ZZ, who's a total waste of space on that show.
He is the Santino Marella of Tough Enough.
He's not even Santino Marella. Santino Marella's in shape and does MMA. This guy's a joke. I mean, I mean, every time he's on there, it's like, could you please put a shirt on?
Okay, but that was only one time.
He's got bigger tits than most women. I don't know anybody that wants to see that, but he's just like lazy. He slept in during a workout, and the rumor was they wanted him out. So one week they portrayed him very negatively on the show, and he's popular with the voting fan base. I don't know why. Maybe they can relate to him, but I think he's pretty terrible, and I think Sarah Lee is too.
I gotta say this. Anyone can follow me on Twitter at Jon FIsher IQ, and you can go all the way back, probably like about 1,000 tweets before, and see that I predicted Sarah Lee and Tanner to win, and they're both still in it. So I'm feeling good. I can spot talent. Damn it.
Yeah, that's why you're doing a podcast with me.
I know. So okay, let's talk about those two. What do you think of Tanner? I think he has, I think he's trying to be Daniel Bryan, which is a bad thing. I hope that's not the case. But he can show that he can be taught. He's a great listener. His in-ring mannerisms are fantastic. Not his face, but his body language is very good. Especially at the end of his match with Gigi, like rushing out of the ring, getting in the face of the crowd. Very, very impressive. I like the way they wrote the match. I think Tanner has a future. I don't know if it's in this, company, but I guarantee some independent scenes are going to pick him up.
Yeah, I guarantee he has a future too as a mime. I mean, the guy has the charisma of Shelton Benjamin,
and yet he's one of the most successful independent wrestlers maybe ever, with Charlie Haas. So your argument is null and void.
Shelton Benjamin is excellent. He's a phenomenal worker, great physique, unbelievable, but has the charisma of a doorknob. Actually, a doorknob may have more charisma than Shelton Benjamin in the ring, camera, on TV.
And that's what we thought about Ryback, but look at him.
Yeah, he still sucks.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he's good if he broke CM Punk's pelvis or whatever. the crowd reactions he's getting are huge, and they aren't just from the main demographic, like the little kids who like think of him as like a hero. Everyone's cheering for him everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm just presenting facts.
Yeah. Hey, Justin Bieber's music is popular too. Does that mean it's good?
Hey, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, whether that be wrestling or music. So I'm just going by facts here, and the fact of the matter is, Ryback's over. Cesaro is over. People said Cesaro had no charisma. What about now?
Yeah, Vince said that. Vince said that he was missing something. And hey, Cesaro's always been good. He has lacked the charisma, but he's always been overall good. And I feel like he definitely belongs where he's at now.
Well, like Christian. Christian didn't have that much charisma. He was Captain Charisma, but without Edge, Tanner has a future in his business. That's my point.
Vince McMahon wanted to put a blue dot on Christian's face on TV because his face was weird. So yeah, he didn't have much of a chance. But yeah, Tanner has no charisma. He's obviously an MMA fighter, so he's a very good athlete and has the potential maybe to be a good worker, but just not a great personality. Nothing stands out about him on his his personality, his mic skills, any of that stuff. It just doesn't seem to come together.
All right, well, you're wrong. So let's go to Sarah Lee. There's something just different about her. I don't know what it is. Her humbleness, her demeanor. I'm not sure. She's not the greatest in the ring, but then again,
Jon FIsher with the understatement of the year, ladies and gentlemen.
I have to say it. Nikki Bella wasn't a great wrestler. Even Kelly was not a great wrestler. Even Eva Marie, who couldn't even do a body slam. Eva Marie improved, and despite all the criticism she did, Nikki Bella improved, and when people hate it or not, she has. Kelly even improved. Okay, she had one great match in there somewhere. It might have been, I don't know. I'm not going to lie to everybody. You can improve, and she has improved from day one to here. Isn't that what Tough Enough's all about? Is like getting better, learning, right?
Yeah, she still sucks, but maybe she's improved.
What do people want from Tough Enough? The next star immediately? No. Whoever's going to win this will be in development for at least 3 years. So what's the point then?
Yeah, I don't know.
Of showing something huge now.
Yeah, well, maybe the problem they're not getting that because they're picking people who aren't coming from a wrestling background, like you noted.
Well, Patrick did. He was the only one.
Yeah, and he's gone. He was voted out.
Well.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to find the optimistic outlook on. Okay, so Josh, what do you think of Josh from Tough Enough?
Hey, there is an optimistic outlook to all of this.
Don't tell me that it's over soon.
Yeah, that was it.
Okay. Do you like Josh? He's bigger.
I do.
Why?
I think he's going to win.
Why?
He's exactly what Vince McMahon is looking for. He's tall, he's big, he's good looking, and he's a former NFL player. It's everything that Vince McMahon has a wet dream about.
Oh, well, okay.
Are we live?
Yeah, we're still live. That hasn't changed. That hasn't changed at all. You know what? Since it's up to the fans, I say ZZ's going to win. I don't want him to, but this is all about the WWE Universe. And he gets the most votes every single week since he's been on the bottom 3 the most.
Yeah, he's just so terrible. He was my original pick to win. I think that's only changed because, I think they've soured on him. And
they have. There's been multiple reports of them trying to make him look like he's so bad, which he may be.
Yeah.
On purpose to make the viewers not want to vote him through.
Yeah, and Vince likes Josh. That's his guy, and Patrick Clark has actually said that as far as the in-ring drills go, that Josh was the number 2 guy as far as who's doing the best job on that. So
behind Patrick, of course.
Well, yeah, of course.
and you spoke to Patrick about a few weeks ago, right?
I actually spoke to his tag team partner.
That's right. So, talk. So, what did he have to say about Patrick?
Yeah, so I spoke to Leo Rush, who, they've got a tag team together in Maryland Championship Wrestling, and he really talked about having very much like a brother relationship with Patrick, what a great guy he was, and They just are really close. They're outside of the ring. They hang out together, that kind of stuff. So it was really cool to hear. Patrick was the first person to go through the new Maryland Championship Wrestling training facility with Leo, and so I think that was really cool to see that this is something that he has wanted to do, and Patrick is only 19, so he's very young, and he's got a lot of potential, and he's got a very cool finishing move.
Does he? What is it?
It's called the Patrick Clark, of course.
Original.
Yeah, very original. And it is essentially kind of like Bray Wyatt's finisher, Sister Abigail, except it's a DDT. He gets you into that same position that Bray Wyatt would. He hooks his arm around like a DDT, and then he proceeds to DDT the shit out of you in the same sort of motion. So it's a really cool thing. If you haven't seen it, you don't know what I'm talking about it, you can YouTube it, and it's really cool.
So our 8 o'clock time limit has hit. So I want to say before we go, NXT starting right now. What do you expect from the event before we head off here? Bayley and Becky Lynch will steal the show because they're both amazing. Yeah,
I think they're both great, and I think they're building to Kevin Owens losing again. He's going to lose to Finn Balor, I believe, in Brooklyn and the Barclays Center, and right before SummerSlam, and that's not doing anybody any favors. So
you need to open your horizons a little bit. But either way, Mr. Brad, next week, can we, while we're live here, can we decide on a time? I mean, why not? Who cares? Why not every Wednesday from 7 to 8 o'clock?
Why not? That sounds like a great idea.
So, everybody, if you weren't listening, I hope you were. Every Wednesday from 7 to 8 o'clock, you can listen to the Voice of the Voiceless podcast live. Google Hangout and YouTube. We might just switch over to YouTube because you can do those things now. Technology is a wonderful thing.
Yeah, and the more you drink, the better we sound.
I think that's what they said about... you know what? Never mind. I was going to say tough enough, but you know what? I like it. All right. Well, yeah, follow us on Twitter at Suicide Dive, at Jon FIsher IQ, and at the Brad Shepard, right?
Yep, absolutely. Follow me. Send me your tweets and feedback. And if you don't like me, just don't say shit. No, just kidding.
Well, you know
we want to hear from you.
Yeah, if you don't like it, tell us. If we need to fix something, tell us. We're not going to be one of those people that say we're the best of all time and screw you. No, that's right. That's stupid.
We absolutely. We especially want to hear all your negative feedback about Jon FIsher, most importantly.
Yeah. There's too much to go around. And always follow us on Facebook at Wrestling News Hub, all separate words, for the latest and greatest in professional wrestling today. Anything else, Brad, before we head off?
That's it. Live long and prosper.
All right. That's just great. Yeah, we'll see you guys next week at 7 o'clock right here on Google Plus and YouTube. Take care, everybody. Have a great night and enjoy NXT.
Peace.